Welcome to the deep dive. We're here to turn insights into, well, actionable knowledge for you.
That's the goal.
And today we're doing a deep dive into this really powerful, very concise statement. It's from Elsie Chan's work, Too Cool to Compare, Too Late to Convert. It's not just the title, though. It's described as a story-driven reminder that protection needs more than premiums. It needs proof.
Quite a packed phrase.
It really is. So our mission today is to unpack that. What does it actually mean to be, too cool to compare, or to find out it's too late to convert?
Right.
And maybe most importantly, why is this idea of proof so much more vital than just paying premiums when we're talking about, real protection?
Yeah, genuine safety.
Exactly. So get ready to maybe rethink how you see safety and security, because this little phrase, it challenges some big assumptions we probably all make.
Definitely does.
Okay, so let's jump right in. These phrases from Elsie Chan. Too cool to compare. Too late to convert. When you first hear too cool to compare, sure, there's maybe hubris, arrogance. But what's a subtler danger there? Something listeners might miss.
Well, what's interesting, I think, is that too cool to compare isn't always about, conscious arrogance. Sometimes it's more insidious. It can be a sign of our own cognitive biases kicking in.
How so?
Like, maybe we're subconsciously just looking for reasons to stick with the decision we've already leaned towards. Confirmation bias, right? So we just wave away alternatives.
Ah, okay. So we don't even want to compare because it might challenge our choice.
Precisely. Or it could just be, comfort with the status quo. The actual effort of looking at other options feels, well, unnecessary, maybe even a bit threatening to our current setup.
Yeah, I can see that. Inertia.
Exactly. So the real danger isn't just the act of not comparing. It's the underlying belief that you don't know to, because you think your situation is unique or superior, or maybe it's just, frankly, intellectual laziness.
And that applies broadly, you're saying, not just buying stuff.
Oh, absolutely. Choosing software for your business, sure. But also maybe not getting that second medical opinion, or ignoring red flags in a new job offer because you want it to be right.
Okay, that makes sense. It's not always obvious pride. Sometimes it's just easier not to look too closely. And that naturally leads to the second part, doesn't it? Too late to convert, which sounds pretty final. It speaks to that irreversible nature of some choices. Or maybe even not making a choice.
Yeah, the non-decisions can be just as critical.
Right. That moment where the chance to change, to adapt, to pick a different path, it's just gone. You realize it, but you can't act anymore.
That's it, exactly. It's the point of no return. You might have been too cool to compare that job offer, like we said, convinced it was perfect. But maybe you've burned bridges with your old employer, you've moved your family, you've started the job, and then you realize it's a disaster. It can literally be too late to convert back or to another path without huge costs and upheaval.
So it's not just a missed opportunity, it's potentially a major setback.
It really can be. The analogy I sometimes think of, it's less like finding a bridge is out and maybe more like a rocket launch.
Okay.
Once those boosters ignite, and you're committed to that trajectory, well, it's pretty much too late to convert to a different orbit without potentially catastrophic results.
Wow, that's a powerful image.
Uh-huh.
Applies to investments, maybe. Health choices.
Absolutely. Investment strategies, definitely. Long-term health commitments, big organizational changes. It's often that unwillingness to compare, that almost deliberate avoidance of alternatives that locks us into those too late situations.
So the cost of being too cool to compare can really stack up, leading you straight into being too late to convert. But, okay, what are we often relying on instead of comparing? What feels like protection but isn't?
Yeah. Now we get to the core of it.
Yeah, that's where Elsie Chan's idea comes in. Protection needs more than premiums. It needs proof. Let's unpack premiums first. How do we tend to misunderstand what a premium actually gives us?
Well, this statement, it really challenges our basic ideas about security, doesn't it? Because we so often equate paying for something with being protected.
Right, like insurance. You pay the premium, you feel covered.
Exactly. But a premium, in this broader sense Chan uses, it's not just money. It's anything that feels like a solution, but doesn't have that demonstrated effectiveness, real proof.
So like effort or trust.
Yeah, it could be the effort you put into some surface-level fix that doesn't really solve the root problem.
Yeah.
Or the trust you give someone or some system without really verifying anything. Or even just the comfortable stories we tell ourselves about why we're safe.
Okay, examples.
You buy the premium antivirus software, right?
Yeah.
Or subscribe to the premium gym membership. Or maybe your company adopts the latest premium management philosophy.
Those all sound like positive steps.
They feel like positive steps. They are the costs, the investments, the promises, the sort of outward signs of safety. But the danger is when we let paying that premium lull us into this false sense of security.
Mistaking the payment for the actual protection.
Precisely. It's an illusion of control, really. You've paid your dues, so you think you're okay.
That's a really key distinction. And it makes me think, are there times when premiums are almost designed to create that illusion of proof?
Yeah.
And how would we even spot that?
Oh, absolutely. That happens all the time. The market is brilliant at packaging premiums to look like proof.
Right. Marketing.
Exactly. And that's why Chan calls this a story-driven reminder. Stories make it real. Imagine like a story about a small business owner.
Okay.
She's maybe too cool to compare different cybersecurity options. Maybe she just picks the most expensive, the premium package, thinking, well, cost equals quality, right?
A common assumption.
Very common. But then her story becomes a really harsh reminder when, uh-oh, it's too late to convert. A data breach happens, and it exposes the total lack of actual proof that the system worked effectively, despite the big price tag.
Ouch. So the premium was paid, but the proof was missing when it mattered.
That's it. Proof is the demonstrated effectiveness. It's the real-world results, the hard evidence that something actually works under pressure.
So for that security system.
For that system, proof isn't the monthly bill you pay. It's the track record. Has it actually stopped real breaches? Did it alert effectively when tested? For, say, a health plan, proof isn't just the expensive supplements you buy, it's actual, measurable improvement in your well-being. Verified results.
It's the difference between hoping it works and knowing it works.
Exactly. Hope versus certainty. Paying for a promise versus seeing that promise delivered again and again.
It's like buying a really fancy, expensive umbrella. Looks great. That's the premium. But the proof only comes when it starts raining, and you find out if it actually keeps you dry or if it's full of holes.
Perfect analogy. That's exactly it. You paid the premium for the beautiful umbrella, but there was zero proof of its function until the downpour.
And that story-driven part really hits home, because these aren't just theories, are they? These are the kinds of things that happen to people.
They are. And sometimes it's the lack of proof that becomes the defining part of the story. Think about personal development for a second.
Yeah.
People invest a lot, right? Premium workshops, certifications, collecting them like badges feels good. That's the premium.
I see that.
But the real proof, that's much harder. It's showing you can actually apply those skills, seeing tangible changes in how you act or measurable results in your career. That kind of proof takes work to demonstrate and sustain.
So sometimes we pay the premium almost to avoid the harder work of getting the proof.
I think that's often true, yeah. We pay to feel good about not doing the necessary verification or the consistent follow-through.
Okay, so let's bring this back to the listener. What does this all mean for you listening right now? This insight from Elsie Chan feels like a really strong call to action, doesn't it? For anyone making decisions that matter.
It really is.
It's pushing us to look past the surface, beyond the sales pitch or the price tag or just what we're told, to actively go looking for real verification. So, expert, when people start trying to find proof in their lives, where's a common area where that line between premium and proof gets really, really fuzzy, deceptively blurry?
That's a great question because the blurriest areas are often where the consequences seem far off. Or maybe what other people think social validation kind of overshadows the actual results.
Like what?
Think about online privacy. That's a huge one today. We might pay for a premium VPN service, right? Get a premium password manager. And we feel secure. Those are the premiums we pay.
Okay, makes sense.
But the actual proof of security, that lies in things like regularly checking your digital footprint, really understanding the privacy policies, the fine print of the services you use, and taking active steps like using two-factor authentication everywhere you can.
So the premium gives you a tool, maybe, but the proof comes from how you use it and your own vigilance.
Exactly. The proof comes from the active engagement. It demands critical thinking.
Yeah.
It means being willing to question assumptions, maybe especially our own assumptions, and having the discipline to do that checking, that due diligence, before it potentially becomes too late to convert.
That active verification piece feels key. It shifts us from being reactive, only finding out something doesn't work when it fails, to being proactive, building real security based on actual evidence.
Yeah, building a solid foundation, like you said earlier, instead of just, papering over the cracks and hoping things hold up.
Right.
It also means we need to demand transparency. Ask for the real-world results, not just accept promises or rely on how much something costs.
Asking harder questions.
Yeah. What's the evidence? What are the actual metrics? What's the track record here? Really understanding that difference between premium and proof that empowers you. It lets you build a life that's genuinely more resilient, more protected, whether that's about your health, your money, your relationships, even your digital life.
It moves you from just hoping for the best to making choices based on something solid.
From passive acceptance to active verification. Certainty, not just hope.
Wow. What a really potent way to frame how we approach security, decision-making, everything, really. Elsie Chan's reminder that protection needs more than premiums, it needs proof.
Yeah.
It feels like a wake-up call, a call to shake off complacency, take a hard look at the safeguards we rely on, and make sure we're not just, paying for a feeling of security, but actually investing in protection that's real, that's demonstrable, that's been tested.
And I think this deep dive really highlights that the true cost isn't always the premium you pay up front.
No.
No. The potentially devastating cost comes later, realizing too late that your protection was just an illusion, that it lacked proof. And maybe remember you were too cool to compare back when you still had options.
Yeah.
It's about shifting from seeking comfort to demanding conviction in our choices.
That's powerful. From comfort to conviction.
Yeah.
Okay, so for everyone listening, we really encourage you to think about this. Where in your life may be an area you don't often examine, like a habit or a belief you've held for ages, where might you be relying on a comfortable premium that hasn't actually faced the test of proof?
A quiet assumption, maybe.
Exactly. What's just one question you could ask yourself? Or one small step you could take starting today to try and uncover that evidence, to find that proof before potentially that window for conversion closes? Something to definitely think about. Thank you for diving deep with us today.